This conference will now be recorded.
So thank you all for being at the Public Information and Education Committee and special meeting of the Board of Directors for West Basin Municipal Water District for January 13th at 11 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Determination of a quorum. We do have a quorum. Patrick, correct?
Yes, we do, Madam Chair.
Any public comment?
No, I've not received any requests for public comment.
Presentations?
We have none, Madam Chair.
Action calendar?
There are no items on the action calendar today.
All right, we'll go to item 6, information calendar. Patrick, please.
Yeah, so our first item we have 2 information calendar items. The first is an update on the conservation programs. We have a couple of presenters here. We have our Senior Policy and Resources Analyst, Gus Mesa, and Jennifer Vasquez, our Water and Resources Analyst too. We're going to tag team on this. So I see Gus there with his nice tie on. How you doing, Gus? If you could start the presentation, please.
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning, Chairwoman Gray, committee and board members. I have a few updates on our water efficiency programs, and then I'll be handing this over to Jennifer Vasquez for her updates. The first update is on our Change and Save program, which is shown on board packet page 3 under program highlights section. Our Change and Save program is being fully funded by a DWR grant that is set to expire on June 30th of this year. In addition to the DWR funding, we are also utilizing funding from the MWD Member Agency Administered Funding Program. So this program is 100% funded by outside funding. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, can you hear me okay? I'm hearing a little bit of echo.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Great, thank you. I'll keep going. Thank you, Patrick. So our Change and Save program is about 40% complete as of today. Last year, in 2020, we worked with our consultant, Allegra Consulting, to provide residents in our disadvantaged communities with 500 online surveys, 500 water efficiency kits, and 73 clothes washer rebates at $500 each. So we had good success this last year. For this year, the goal is to provide an additional 500 surveys, 500 kits, and 327 clothes washer rebates at $500 each for a total program amount of 1,000 surveys, 1,000 kits, and 400 clothes washers. That is the goal of the grant of the program. Our public information team is currently working with Allegra to finalize the social media strategies for this relaunch that will take place later this month. So we're very excited to relaunch our Change and Save program to our communities and residents. And at this time, I could take any questions you may have.
All right, are there any questions, board members?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes, Director Williams.
Thank you. To Gus, I just have a quick question. The gas company has a program giving away free washers. I don't know about the dryers, but I was just wondering, why would the gas company be giving away free washers? Washers are usually driven by electricity and not gas, should I say powered. So do you know anything about that?
I do, Director Williams. Yes, you are correct. They are it's an income qualified program that they have. So residents have to qualify for that program. There are energy savings there, as you mentioned. The gas. So it takes energy for the washers and dryers, as you know. So they are providing that program. I can look into it further to see the status of it, and if you would like, Director Williams, to provide you a little bit more information on that program.
But are they in competition with our program? or do we work with them in any kind of way?
We do work with the South Bay Environmental Services Center. So the gas company, as you know, and Edison are partners as we are as well with the South Bay. And we have a monthly partners meeting with the gas company and Edison, so we're very familiar with our programs. So we do share information, Director Williams, through our partnership with the South Bay Environmental Services Center to try to get information out to residents. So that's why we are familiar with each other's programs.
Okay, so we're not competing.
Correct. They have that's their separate program, Director Williams, and we have our Change and Save program, which, as you know, includes a survey, includes a conservation kit, and then the $500 washer rebate as well for qualifying washers. And there's a list of different types of washers that residents can qualify for.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, are there any other questions? All right, I don't hear any. Gus,
Thank you, Director Gray.
are you?
Thank you, Chairwoman Gray. I'll continue. The next update is on our Malibu Smart and Topanga Smart program, which is shown on the next page of your packet, page 4. This program is a partnership with the City of Malibu and LA County Waterworks District 29. In 2017, the partners received a grant from DWR through the North Santa Monica Bay IRWIMP grant program. This program is 91% complete and is expected to end July 31st of this year. We and our partners continue to promote the water efficiency rebates to the residents of Malibu and Topanga. Staff did want to mention that our current vendor, R.W. Jones, did submit a proposal to provide 4 firescaping webinars at a cost of $80,000. Staff discussed this proposal and costs with its partners, the City of Malibu and LA County, and we all agree that the costs were rather high. Instead of trying to sole source the firescaping webinars to R.W. Jones, the partners would like to research and discuss some alternatives. The City of Malibu would like to see if we could all work together to possibly conduct one firescaping webinar, possibly this summer or fall. Staff could come back with some possible alternatives back to this committee. The firescaping webinars do provide a great opportunity to discuss proper plants, water efficiency devices, rebates, and firescaping best practices. We did have a very successful firescaping webinar last year, if you recall, in Topanga, we were able to get information out about the Malibu and Topanga SMART program. But before I move on to the Palos Verdes firescaping webinar that we're working on, I wanted to see if there were any questions or comments on the Malibu firescaping webinars.
Are there any questions? I don't hear any. So can you go on, please?
Thank you, Chairwoman Gray. As part of the overall firescaping webinar topic, we also discussed at this committee about conducting a staff-led webinar for the Palos Verdes Peninsula area. There's a lot of interest there from our water retailer, California Water Service, and the South Bay Environmental Services Center. Let's see. So staff, the way it would work, staff would be responsible for developing and implementing the webinar. We would hire an instructor and we would develop marketing materials. We would, like I mentioned, we would work closely with California Water Service. They've expressed interest in this webinar in the Palos Verdes area and the 4 cities there. And they do have contacts. They have a contact with the LA County Fire Department there, which we would include in the planning of this webinar. They would add a lot to that webinar. So in the past, MWD has approved our applications to the MWD member agency administered funding. We have an agreement with MWD where they provide funding to us for various programs. Some are device-driven, such as rain barrel events, and some are more educational-driven, such as the Firescaping Webinar. So we would apply and ask them to fund the training and the marketing, reducing our costs. That's the great ability of that arrangement we have with MWD. Director Williams will provide. Let me back up. I'm sorry. Excuse my phone ringing too. I apologize. I hope you can't hear that. But we're working with the Public Information Committee, the department, and we're looking at the month of May to possibly put on this webinar in the PV area, Director Williams, and we're going to be working on coming up with some dates to provide board services and to provide you with some dates in May and some times as well for that webinar. So I can take any questions you may have about that Firescaping webinar in PV.
All right, any questions?
No questions right now. Thank you.
All right,
Just keep me posted.
Great, thank you. The last program I'll be covering is the Rain Barrel Home Delivery Pilot Program shown on packet page 5. We have some good news on our new pilot program. We did receive 5 bids. We went out to bid 2 times and received 0, so this is our 3rd time, and we changed a couple of items in the RFP, and we received 5 bids. So we're in the process, directors, right now of we just received them, so we're reviewing them, and so within the next few days we'll be able to have some scores. I believe Director Houston, you had mentioned that you would like to see the scores, so we'll have that in a few days. As mentioned before, the program will provide 1,000 free rain barrels to residents within our communities, and we'll be working closely with the South Bay Environmental Services Center, all our cities, all our water retailers, and other stakeholders to promote this pilot program to our entire service area. And we recently learned that there's quite a bit of interest from our last electronic newsletter. I was told that the last story was on our rain barrel program, but it did receive the most clicks. So there seems to be a lot of interest from the public about this new pilot program. So the goal is to launch this program in early February, which is coming up here really quick, and it'll run through April and May. So at this time, I could take any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? All right, Gus, I do have a question. Have you figured out how you will actually include the nonprofit organizations? I see you have a bullet point here about including them. Do you know how that will work with them?
Yes, Director Gray. We'll be contacting them and providing them with information on the program, the flyer, other social media information that's being developed. And we'll be contacting the CBOs that we worked with in the past, the high schools, the other nonprofits, the service clubs that we've worked with before. We'll be contacting them and asking them to please share the information to their family, friends, and other contacts.
Basically, they'll be doing a lot of outreach regarding the program, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions? Gus?
Yes,
Right.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Gus. Can you let us know how you changed the scope of work and what you changed the scope of work to in the new bid that encourage more folks to bid?
Yes, Director Williams. In the original bid, we were going to try to have the rain barrels delivered to the delivery company's site, and many of the delivery companies we found out didn't have the room or space to house the rain barrels at their site. And so we changed the scope of work to have the rain barrels delivered to our Edward C. Little Water Recycling or Water Education Center. And so now the delivery companies only have to go there and pick them up daily and then go out and deliver them. So they found that easier to work with.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Gus, can you go on then, please?
That is my update, Chairwoman Gray. I can go ahead and hand this over to Jennifer now.
All right, thank you very much, Gus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Gus, and good morning, Chairwoman Gray and members of the committee and board. I will be beginning at the bottom of board packet page 5 with an update to the grass replacement rebate section. I will go a little bit longer because I did want to present something very important and a very important update that we have for the grass replacement rebate. So I will take questions, and I'm looking for feedback hopefully at the end of my presentation for this particular program. So I will pause at that time for your feedback. So staff has of course included the rebate application table at the top portion of packet page 6. It includes all applications received from July 1st through the end of the year, which is of course December 2020. A total of 4 applications were received in the month of December. And now for the general update of the program, of course, as you remember, a total authorized amount of $100,000 has been included in this current fiscal year, which is the 2020 to 2021 budget, to continue offering West Basin's additional dollar per square foot. Now, in the beginning of the fiscal year, in July 2020, funding was initially allocated equally at $50,000 for both residential and the CII applications for that total amount of $100,000. There was an understanding with Metropolitan staff at that time that this funding would be for both residential and CII, both of the sectors, on a first come, first served method with the flexibility of shifting funds as applications came in. There was an increased interest in the residential program, and staff saw a need to shift the $25,000 of funding originally marked for CII to fund the need that was seen in the residential program in the first few months. We did bring that update back in November, I believe. As of November 2020, West Basin was billed for completed projects through Metropolitan's monthly invoices in the amount totaling $61,563. That's included within the board packet. And then once again, due to the increased activity in the residential program, staff is considering shifting the remaining $25,000 from CII funding to the residential program to help cover additional applications that come in. This would allow the timely use of the remaining budget, now completely allocated to the residential grass replacement program. And due to the nature of the grass replacement rebate process, applications may take upwards of 6 months to reach full completion once they are committed. So that table that you see there, those are committed funds, which means that Metropolitan has committed to paying the additional funding. However, it does take, like I mentioned, 6 months to reach the full completion, or it can take up to 6 months to reach that full completion. This application time does prove a little bit challenging when we're estimating how quickly the funds will be spent. And it is good to note that some of the rebate applications that we do see may drop out in the future. However, staff does recommend a review of the funding, the complete funding at this time, to avoid any delays in the rebate processing. Staff is prepared at the direction of the board to identify additional funding from the West Basin budget for the grass replacement rebate program to continue offering that additional dollar that was mentioned. This is a unique year where we saw an increased interest in the residential grass replacement program between August through October 2020. We noted applications were received through the Metropolitan EGIA system, which is that SoCal WaterSmart website. And we do anticipate that this increased interest will continue into the spring months. If we don't add additional funding, we do run the risk of running out of money prior to the end of the fiscal year, which would limit some of those applications to the $2 that Metropolitan offers, and it would not supplement the additional $3, the additional dollar, making it a $3 rebate, which is currently available in the West Basin service area. So at the current burn rate, staff does anticipate roughly a need for $50,000 to $75,000 will be needed to cover the interest for this program through the fiscal year. And we are, of course, prepared to return to the board with additional recommendations on increasing the funding to continue the program at the $3 level. At this time, I will take a pause to address any questions you may have. I know I went through a lot of numbers that you may have regarding the grass replacement rebate section. And I'm also looking for any feedback in identifying additional funding for the grass replacement program within this fiscal year.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Are there any questions of board members? I don't hear any, Jennifer, so can you go on, please?
Yes, definitely. And so with the challenge of the grass replacement rebate, we would seek from the board on some feedback as far as increasing the funding. As you can see from the numbers on the board packet, we are coming closer to really allocating the full $100,000 that we have for the grass replacement program. And so there is a possibility that those funds will be quickly allocated and no longer available for the $3 rebate. So that is something to keep in mind as we're speaking for that grass replacement program. The $3 may turn to $2 if no additional funds are added. And so I did want to just reiterate that point. Moving into the grass replacement class section, right below on page 6, there are no major updates on the webinar topics offered. They continue offering the 3 online class webinar topics, which I mentioned, including the California-friendly native plant landscape, turf removal, and garden transformation, and the garden design workshops. So there are dates now available for January 2021 and are listed on our board packet page 8 on the calendar within the calendar section. And so as of this morning, no additional dates have been added. We do still have January dates for the webinars, but of course, West Basin staff will continue promoting these classes as more become available. And we remain in close contact with Metropolitan staff regarding any webinar updates for the schedule. And now moving into the next program update, which is Cash for Kitchens, beginning on the board packet page 7. For Cash for Kitchens, West Basin staff continues collaborating with program partners Green Media Creations and the South Bay Cities Council of Governments to finalize the edits for the Cash for Kitchens portal. Staff is holding meetings this week to complete final edits to the content and the resources available with this new program format. So additionally, the Cash for Kitchens marketing is focused around saving water, which of course saving money, availability online, the fact that this online portal does allow for contactless delivery of the water saving devices, and it also has a strong focus on the water energy nexus with the savings generated from these hot water savings from the devices that are given through the program, and the ability for restaurants and commercial kitchens to complete on their own time. One great benefit for the portal is that they are able to start the water efficiency survey again at their own time and at their own pace, and go through the devices and identify opportunities for savings. So we are closely working with the PI department to coordinate the relaunch of this program across our social media channels, and more information will be provided in the upcoming month. Lastly, for the Ocean Friendly Garden section on page 7, West Basin and its contractor, Swayzer Landscapes, completed the latest maintenance visits in December, finalizing the maintenance contract obligation for the 5 Ocean Friendly Gardens. Staff has contacted all 5 Ocean Friendly Garden staff members into 2021. Some of the garden staff have shared interest in having actually their city departments address the maintenance needs of their garden moving forward. But West Basin staff is prepared to support this program with maintenance resources available for all ocean-friendly staff. So staff will introduce a webinar series for current city and school staff managing and maintaining the ocean-friendly gardens beginning February 4th, and that will be led by our consultant Swayser Landscape, which will cover topics including pruning schedules, irrigation system management, and plant identification in this 6-webinar series, which will become available Thursday mornings beginning on that February 4th date. Now, this content will be a great way of supporting those sites as they continue maintaining their ocean-friendly gardens. That is my last update. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions? All right, I don't hear anyone wanting to ask questions. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. And guys, thank both of you for your reports.
You're welcome.
All right, Patrick, next item.
Yeah, I just want to just go back to, before we get to Matt here, and I should have brought this up, but we did want to recognize Jennifer Vasquez, who applied to serve on the California Water Efficiency Partnership, CalWEP Board of Directors. And though she wasn't elected, she was appointed to serve as the vice chair of CalWEP committee. And having done an excellent job, Jennifer was considered again this year to be appointed to the board and was successful. I'm very pleased to announce that Jennifer was selected to serve on the CalWEP board on 2021. So I just want to give a shout out to Jennifer if you come back there. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. So congratulations for that, Jennifer. I just want to mention that Chairwoman Gray and to the whole group. And with that, oh, go ahead, Gloria.
No, I was just saying congratulations to Jennifer. Go on.
Thank you so much.
Go on.
Very well done. Very proud of you. The next thing on next item on the agenda is the Matthew Vey is going to handle our role. Matthew Vey is our public information specialist, and Deanne Blackman, who's our public information specialist. One will cover the December media report and the communications update, and Matt is going to cover the first part for us. Matthew, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick, and good morning, Chairwoman Gray and board and committee members. We'll go ahead and start at packet page 14. So I'll give you a second to get there. That's packet page 14. All right, thank you. So yeah, the last month covered a period of time that included the holidays. So it was a relatively quiet month, but there was some activity that I can report onto here. So as you'll see at the top there, there was a press release that was distributed on December 4th. And this press release covered the re-election of Director Peer and the election of Director Alvarez to the Board of Directors. Going down from there, a couple of news items were posted to the website. The first one there you'll see was the West Basin student artwork. So I'll report on that in a couple of slides, but that was a few of our students that were included in the 2021 Metropolitan Student Art Calendar. And then also that same day, we did post a board holiday greeting video on our homepage that Michael Calabria from our team put together, which was a nice little thing that we added to our website for the holidays. And then the last thing there on the list is the e-newsletter. This was our fall/winter 2020 West Basin e-newsletter that goes out to about 4,000 folks throughout the service area. That was distributed on December 22nd. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the next packet page 15, please. And you'll see there, this was the press release that went out on December 4th. And this was picked up by local media. We've had a number of stories over the last month or two in both the Gardena and the Manhattan Beach areas that covered some of the election activity that happened for our district. Go ahead and go to the next page, packet page 16. And then as I mentioned earlier, we did post this story to our website just to give you a little more detail. So last year in 2020, we held our Waters Life Student Art Contest, where we recognized or chose 15 winners. Of those, 3 of our students in our service area were actually chosen to be featured in the 2021 metropolitan calendars that will be going out and being distributed this year. So 3 of our students made that, which is it's a great honor for both them and the district. Let's go ahead and go to packet page 17. So this is the video. I'm not able to play it right now, but hopefully you had a chance to see it. But we just wanted to put together a nice message from the board of directors to our service area, just wishing them a safe and a healthy new year. Obviously, with the pandemic going on, we're trying to put some positive messages out there. And this video was featured in both our e-newsletter that went out, which I'll talk to next. And then it was also placed on our homepage for a couple of weeks. Okay, let's go to the next packet page, page 18. And this is the fall winter newsletter that I mentioned. Again, we put together just a nice message from the board members. We linked to that video that I just showed to you. And there was a total of 10 stories that were included in this version of the newsletter. All of those stories are summarized in the memo. If you haven't had a chance to look at that, you can see what all the stories were, or if you didn't have a chance to actually read through the newsletter yet. And just to report on some of the metrics from the newsletter, we ended up with an open rate, so the number of people that received it that opened it, that was a rate of 20%, which is about industry average. It's a little bit lower than what we've had in the past, but I think because of the holidays, it was a little bit lower. But on the flip side, we actually had a higher click rate than normal. We had a click rate of 12%, and we actually ended up with about 170 unique clicks. So those were clicks on one or more of the stories in the newsletter. So the story of this newsletter was a lower open rate, but higher engagement overall. And some of the most popular stories, the board message and the video was probably either our most popular or second most popular click. And then as Gus mentioned in his presentation, the rain barrels received a really high level of clicks, despite it being kind of the last story in the newsletter. So that was a really good sign to us that program is going to have some great interest. And then also, as usual, our conservation stories always receive a high number of clicks. So those were some of the more popular stories this time around. Let's go ahead and go to packet page 19. So this is just a list of our media coverage over the last month. Again, it was a little lighter than we've had the last several months just because of the holidays. But some of the primary coverage areas that we saw were district events and awards, some of the election coverage of West Basin elections, and then our conservation programs. The Malibu Times actually posted a couple of stories within a week or so, one of them talking about the Malibu Smart program and some of the increased incentives that we have for our conservation products out there. Skip down to packet page 21. So upcoming opportunities. So the top one on the list there is the 2021 Waters Life Student Art Contest that will be kicked off here pretty soon. We actually ended up releasing a press release on Monday of this week, and we've actually seen a lot of local media coverage of that. So they seem to be interested in these types of positive stories. So we'll share that with you at the next committee meeting. Also, I think Gus covered Change and Save program very well. The other thing that I do want to mention here, just as an extra note, is that there was a request for some updates to our district talking points. So our staff has been working on updating those talking points. We're progressing very well with getting those updated, and we should have those available soon for director use and use in the community. So some of the topics, there's about 8 topics that we're updating. Those would be kind of general about West Basin, our recycled water program, West Basin in the community, water challenges, Delta Conveyance, and then a couple others as well. So please be on the lookout for those coming soon. So that concludes all of my prepared remarks, but I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Right, thank you. Are there any questions? Right, I don't hear any requests. Can we continue? Patrick, or whoever's next?
Thank you, Matt, and good morning, Chairwoman Gray and members of the board and committee. During my segment of the media report, I will be doing an overview of the district's social media highlights by platform, starting on packet page 23. On packet page 23, you'll see here where the district Twitter page earned 6,617 impressions and continues to see an increase in followers, with the most popular post being Director Gray speaking during December's Aqua virtual conference. On packet page 24, during this time period, the district Facebook page saw an increase in impressions with nearly 50,000 impressions and 377 clicks on the links that we post. The most popular post on Facebook was actually a post showing the formal swearing in of Directors Alvarez and Director Deere. Moving forward to packet page 25. Similar to Facebook, the district Instagram page also continues to see gradual increases in impressions as well as engagement with our posts, with over 10,000 impressions and 167 engagements. The most popular posts actually featured the public information education team's very own Janelle Ankayan, who coordinates the district's education programs. This particular post was a video of Janelle at the Edward C. Little Water Recycling Facility, promoting the district's virtual school field trips. And I think we have the video just to show here.
Did you know that out of all the water on the planet Earth, less than 3% is fresh water that we can actually drink? Come take a tour with me, Janelle, at West Basin's Edward C. Little Water Recycling Facility and find out more about what we do to help protect our freshwater resources.
So that was actually produced in-house with a joint collaboration between Janelle Ankayan, our graphic designer, Michael Calabria, and our social media efforts. So moving forward to packet page 26. The district's LinkedIn page continues to see an increase in followers as we've increased our following in the past month to a total of 885 followers. The most popular post on LinkedIn also happened to be the swearing in of the directors Alvarez and Deere last month. And moving on to packet page 27. Here are some additional social media content highlights, which include on LinkedIn, a water professional in the Chicago area actually recognized West Basin and the Los Angeles Rams and Chargers on the public-private partnership on the of the SoFi Stadium Recycled Water Project in Hollywood Park in Inglewood. And then the next post you'll see is on Twitter, Aqua recognizing West Basin as a Huell Hauser Best in Blue Award finalist ahead of the Aqua Virtual Conference in December. That third post you'll see is a tweet from the partner Wildwoods Foundation promoting the A Drop in the Bucket program, which Wildwood Foundation actually leads students in grades 4 through 8 in a virtual classroom to explore Southern California's water resources and water conservation methods. And finally, at the bottom, you'll see the district shared the video message from the board of directors wishing the public a safe and happy holiday season that Matt mentioned earlier in the report. And finally, on packet page 28, it's just a roundup of some of the most popular posts from last year. On Twitter, West Basin did share the city of Malibu's post with the message of staying safe and following current area alerts during the October 26th red flag fire conditions. This just showed basically just the ongoing partnership and maintaining engagement with our cities and other partner organizations, sharing their information. Our residents think it's useful. On Facebook, the district's announcement of its Water Lab program, which includes the Know Your H2O webinars, school education programs, community outreach program, and Metropolitan's virtual landscaping classes. On Instagram, West Basin's support of the California African American Water Education Foundation, in which President Gray and Director Williams are founding members. And finally, on LinkedIn, most popular posts actually highlighted West Basin's 25-year partnership with LA San during the virtual celebration of the new membrane bioreactor pilot study at Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant with the City of Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. And that concludes the media report. So if there are any questions at this time, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dan. Are there any questions at this point? All right, I think you can continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanne, and thank you for sharing that clip of Janelle. That was really nice. So that concludes our information calendar items, and brings us to closed session, which we do not have any closed session today. Chairwoman Gray.
All right, thank you. Thank you to all the staff who made reports this morning. Again, thank you so much for your comprehensive reports. We will go to item 8, director's comments, future agenda items. Directors, any comments this morning? Future agenda items? Okay. None. Well, with that, Happy New Year again, staff, and thank you again for your reports this morning, and look forward to working with all of you in 2021. Thank you, General Manager, for your work also, and staff. All right, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.